Welcome back. We're talking to John Ramsey, father of JonBenet Ramsey. A lot of questions here. We had a question for John?
If you could go back, would you allow your daughter to participate in pageants again?
No, I wouldn't. And I don't think that had anything to do with her murder, but I didn't care for the atmosphere particularly. I knew that Patsy and JonBenet did it just because it was fun, but some of the parents there, it was very important that their child won, and we didn't care. In fact, we wanted JonBenet to lose a little so she understood that you don't always win in life.
Do you see any of those, there's now these shows like Toddlers and Tiaras where a lot of kids are involved in pageants, and the pageant world have kind of just grown in popularity. Yeah. When you see that, what do you think?
Well, I think those, I don't watch them as a rule. I catch them occasionally by accident, but they're awfully exaggerated from what I saw and experienced 15 years ago. So I don't know if that's the way that world is today or not.
One of the things that I found really inspirational about your book is your ability to continue on through the worst that life has to offer, and the strength that you were able to find, and also able to find, as you said, not necessarily you can't be happy, but find joy in your life. You have found joy in your life, and you've met a wonderful lady, and you've remarried.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to write the book, was to share that process. A good friend of mine asked me several years ago, he said, "John, do you believe the best days of your life are in front of you?" I said, "Well, no." And I wasn't being bitter or sarcastic, but it's like, how could that possibly be? And he said, "Well, you need to get to a point where you believe they are." I said, "You're absolutely right. I need to get there. That's the definition of hope, and we all have to have hope." That became, for me, a real thought-provoking challenge, is how do I really truly believe that the best days of my life are still in front of me? And that kind of became the thread of this book that I wrote, to try to work through that thought process I went through as to how do you get to that point.
You recently remarried. Your wife Jan is here. Jan, hey.
Yes.
How are you? Welcome.
Hi.
Nice to see you. We stand up. So how did you guys meet?
We met at a wedding in Denver a couple years ago.
And you must be so proud of John for his strength.
He's the finest human being I've ever met in my life. I really like him.
John, your face lights up when you see her. It's nice.
Well, I asked her to say that, so.
So now when you think about your future, do you feel like your finest days, your best days are still to come?
Well, yes, I do, and that's exciting. They're based on different hopes that I had previous to all this happening. I think we're all here for a purpose, and I have a purpose in my life, and I am looking forward to accomplishing that. Maybe that my purpose was to be here tonight and today, and there may be one person in the audience that it affected. It doesn't have to be a grand purpose, but yeah, I'm looking forward to life. But it's a different kind of hope than I had. Frankly, my hope was probably pretty shallow before all this happened. My hope was based on a better job and a bigger house and a nicer car and those things that we typically, look for and hope for. And of course, all that probably isn't in the picture anymore. So what do you base hope on? And it's you are looking for a deeper meaning to life, I think, than just a nicer car.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you guys have found happiness. Jan, thanks for being here. And John, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your story, and Elizabeth as well. Coming up on